Good morning, guys. This is Dan. Welcome to Engelgeist. For those of you that are new, welcome. For those of you that are returning, welcome back. For those of you that support me over on Patreon, thank you so very much for your support. Your subscriptions really help me out. For those of you that are interested in supporting the channel, please go over to patreon.com. You can subscribe. Choosing a subscription level will get you the daily forecast a day early. And it will also get you, depending on the level that you choose, different perks that are available only over there on Patreon. For those of you that are new to me, this is the daily forecast. It is a broad spectrum reading for the greater collective. Therefore, it will be spoken in broad terms. You have to figure out where it fits in your life, if at all. If it doesn't fit, that's completely fine. It doesn't mean that anything is wrong or broken. You might just be working on something different than the vast majority of folks that may tune into this video over time. This video was originally created for Friday the 22nd of January. It is not only set for that date. It is a timeless message in the sense that because it's for the highest good of the greater collective, I believe the message can be good whenever you see it. If you find it in your feed or you come across it on a date that's not the date that was listed on the original creation date, that's fine. You may still be able to watch it and utilize some of the information in it. Again, if you do watch any of my videos and you decide to make decisions after having watched any of my videos in your personal life, those decisions are your responsibility. Always keeping that in mind, use your own intelligence and intuition first and foremost. Never take what I say over that of a professional, i.e. a doctor, a lawyer, therapist. Always listen to them first and foremost. And again, use your own intelligence and intuition in making your decisions. These readings are here to support you and validate what you might already know, but they're not here to necessarily make the decision for you. So let's see what the cards want us to know. I feel like it's been a kind of interesting week, let's just say. So let's see what comes out today. All right, so we have the Seven of Wands. Okay. Sevens to me are about making a conscious choice, right? They're about kind of, how do I want to say this? Like, it's about making a conscious choice to like take steps to do things, especially with wands being the element of fire and that of action, right? When I look at this, it's this guy kind of sort of battling or holding off the other six wands is kind of how it looks like. There's a little bit of defense in his posture. We might be shoring up our boundaries. We might be holding tight to our beliefs right now. I don't necessarily get that this is a bad thing. I just think that we might be feeling maybe a little bit attacked or at odds with our environment or those in our environment. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just kind of, I think, how we react to it or how we choose to interact with it. Are we taking a state of, are we fighting? I get two different vibes from him. One is where he could be fighting these wands back and like sort of beating them back and going like, no, not today. But there's also this part of him where he's holding that wand up and it feels like he's just doing it from a defensive state, trying to kind of, you know, the conscious choice that I feel like that resonates in the seven of this card would be about making the choice to believe in ourselves over over the information that others give us, right? So like if we're acting or making a choice to believe in what we know to be true versus what other people say to us or what like our environment is dictating to us, sometimes that's not always an easy thing to do, right? Sometimes it takes sort of strength, it takes knowledge, it takes sort of confidence to do that. And I think that in yesterday's reading, we saw that Nine of Swords, which was a little bit distressed, worried, that kind of thing, anxiety. I feel like the Seven of Wands is the recovery from that worry or that fear. And it's about sort of believing in ourselves, right? And the first steps in beginning to do that, we have to kind of shore ourselves up, lay our boundaries, make a conscious choice to not allow other people's influences to kind of affect us in negative ways, right? We don't necessarily, some of us might find ourselves fighting for our seat at the table in a way, because that's kind of how I see this Seven of Wands too. But we don't have to kind of harm others to get there, if that makes sense. It's more to me about defending ourselves or what we know to be true and taking action from that place, even if we feel a little unsure, or we feel like there's conflicting voices or opinions out there that are trying to tell us otherwise. I think that we have to choose. Do we listen to those voices? Do we listen to what other people think about us? Or do we actually act on what we know to be true for ourselves? That's the conscious choice that I see in the Seven of Wands card. It's about taking sort of conscious action on our behalf, in our own defense, for our own best interest. There's nothing wrong in doing that, although our outside environment might be telling us otherwise, right? Now let's look at, we're now at Friday, right? So we should be at that end of the week. Okay. The end of the week energy from Sunday's forecast was that hangman, that Piscean energy, that sort of... Sorry guys, I unhooked the video by accident. I hit the mouse keypad and it shut the video off. So let me move that off of there. Sorry. So we have that hanged man energy underneath. And so in an effort to not be stuck, I feel like the Seven of Wands is about taking first steps in believing in ourselves over what others say about us. Does that make sense? So we need to find that illumination that underpins this with the hanged man. The hanged man is going to be that what's the word? That illumination through not necessarily struggle, but through paying attention to ourselves. When I look at this seven, it's about believing in ourselves more so and fighting for what we know to be true. And that's going to, as we build upon that, or as we consciously choose that correct right answer for us, whatever that may be in whatever situation we're dealing with, it's going to help us to sort of free ourselves from the indecision or the stuck feeling that we get from the hanged man. There's also an illumination that happens in the hanged man that I think is beginning to take place in this Seven of Wands. Now, let's look at the clarifiers. We have the Eight of Pentacles. The Eight of Pentacles would indicate hard work, attention to detail right now, really paying attention to what we're doing, staying grounded, staying centered, especially during this time, especially if we're getting outside conflicting opinions or, people are pushing us in directions that we don't necessarily feel as though we want to go. Whatever the situation may be for us in that Seven of Wands, the Eight of Pentacles helps us to keep grounded, centered, and focused, and moving towards that idea of balance that we get in the number 8. We have the Four of Pentacles. Now, this was one of the clarifiers on that Hanged Man card for the end of the week energy. Again, Four of Pentacles, grounded energy, and about money, finances. So for some of you seeing this 8 and this 4, some of this struggle in the Seven of Wands could be around money, finances, or job, worries about that. But it doesn't necessarily have to be. I do feel like that Eight of Pentacles speaks to whatever we're working towards, whatever it is that we desire, whatever it is that we might feel that we have to defend or fight for at this time. We need to ground in it and be strong in it, right? The Four of Pentacles could be, if you look at how he's holding on to that coin and his energy feels so tight and restrictive, that could be some of the practical natured opinions that we see coming in on these wands where we feel sort of attacked, if that makes sense. I hope that you guys can see that. Sometimes people might say to us, oh, are you really sure you want to take that risk? And we may feel that that risk is warranted, or that it might get us closer to our goal. And we're unsure. We know that it's a risk, right? But we might get like outside voices that would say, oh, no, you don't want to do that right now. That could be this Four of Pentacles energy, where it wants to bring in that fear. It wants to bring in sort of maybe that resistance, or that energy of what we experienced a little bit more intensely yesterday through the Nine of Swords, right? Which is that kind of fear-based thinking or limit-based thinking. We don't want to do that. I think we want to counteract that with the Eight of Pentacles energy of just focus on the small details and get them. I can't pet you right now. I can't pet you right now. You need to go. I'm trying to do a reading. Sorry guys, the cat's here. I don't know if you can hear him purring. So that Four of Pentacles is about maybe some of us, wherever it is that we might be holding on too tightly or in fear, or where those voices might be coming in fear, that might be coming, sometimes it's the voice of our parents in our head of what we should do, right? We think it's our own voice, but it's really something that we learned somewhere else, right? That could be what we're struggling or fighting against today in this Seven of Wands. And then I love this. We have the Emperor. The Emperor showed up, I believe. Let me just look at this. Can you give me a minute? I need to not have to pet you right now. The Emperor is actually in the underneath the Hangman energy too. What I want to say about this, we saw the Four of Pentacles and the Emperor on Sunday. It's this energy that I called out on Sunday's reading about how the two of these are two similar. If you look, they're both seated. They both have everything they need, but one's holding on in fear and one is totally sure of himself. I'm going to kill you. Okay, so what I do want to say is that the one that's sure of himself, the Emperor, he's empowered, he's Aries energy, he's fire, he's dynamic, he makes decisions, he's fair, he's loving, he's benevolent, he has high standards, he lives up to those standards and expects others to do the same. We see that fire energy of Aries in the beginnings of the Seven of Wands. Do you see what I'm saying here? So what I feel like today is about believing in ourselves enough to sort of stand our ground, wherever that may be in our life, where we're feeling challenged. Putting our nose to the grindstone, ironing out the finer details, putting our own special spin and our own kind of work on it. That's the Eight of Pentacles. Not holding on too strongly or out of fear in the Four of Pentacles. Reminding ourselves too, the Four of Pentacles is not always a bad card. It can remind us to stay safe and keep balance, right? Or not balance so much as stability, right? There's a way to do that. We have stability also much more so in the Emperor. Right? And we need to remember how and where we get our stability from and how it empowers us. And so I think that it's interesting that we see this Emperor Four of Pentacles combination coming up again at this week's end, because these guys are working in the background. We have a choice here is what I feel like. Do we hold ourselves to the standard of the Four of Pentacles, or do we hold ourselves to a similar standard of the Emperor? It may require us to be seen. It may require us to be responsible a little bit more. It may require a little bit more from us, right? But I also think that the reward within our life is all that more significant or powerful. Let's just say that, right? Let's look at the grounding stone. And the grounding stone is the word today to ground in is faith. Remember, we're looking for that underpinning stone this week, or from all of these readings from Sunday's reading, is truth. So in faith, we have to have a certain amount of faith in our truth. We see that faith in this gentleman in the Seven of Wands, sort of defending his stance, fighting for his position at the table, fighting for what he believes and knows to be true, right? We don't necessarily have to fight per se, but we have to sort of defend it. We have to hold that stick up and protect what we know to be true today. We don't have to hold it out of fear. We have to hold it out of a place of faith. Right? That's the Emperor's energy. That's how I see the Emperor. He sits there knowing his value, knowing his worth, knowing the expectations, and knowing that he will deliver or can deliver, or it will be delivered unto him, versus the Four of Pentacles where it's fearful and sort of more shut off, less in the flow of things. Faith would put us into the flow. Fear would take us out. And so that's what we want to do today. And we want to flow towards our truth. We want to defend our truth this week. We want to be looking for those that truth that resonates within us, so that we can connect up to these aspects of the Emperor that live within us, right? We want to empower ourselves versus diminish. And that's kind of the message that I'm getting from this reading. Sorry that I stopped the video in between by accident. That didn't mean to happen. Please hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed the video. And subscribe to the channel if you feel so inclined. I look forward to seeing you guys again tomorrow to see what happens for the end of the week. And keep a lookout for the monthly Tarotscopes that are about to go out for all of the signs for the month of February. And I will talk to you guys soon. All right, have a great day and take care. Bye-bye.